Hello everybody, this is Adrian on Friday, March the 6th, and I thought I'd just give an update on the avocados in the greenhouse. So as you can see, this is the seedling Hass, I believe. These are the flower buds that are beginning to develop. So they're coming on quite well now. Quite a few flower buds. Unfortunately, the most of them at the top of the tree this year, so they're quite hard to film. This one I'm filming here is about 7 feet up, and the others are sort of 8 feet, 9 feet, that kind of height above ground level. So I'll probably mostly be focusing on the ones that are lower down. But as you can see, the leaf buds on this are developing quite well. I've actually pruned this tree really hard to let more light into the lower areas. If I just sort of scroll down a bit, you can see there's lots of different grafts going on down here. I really want this tree to be a bit bushier, really. This kind of big branch here that's going up, that goes up to 8 or 9 feet tall. At some stage in the future, I want to trim that back and let all these scions, if they're successful, grow up. I've got a Pinkerton here, courtesy of Brett. Thank you very much. There's a London Hass here. This one's London Hass over here. This one's London Hass. That one at the back there is, what is that? That's a London Hass. This little one here, you can see my finger on, that's a reed. Down here I have a reed. Down here a London Hass. Over here another little bit of Pinkerton, and up here another bit of London Hass. So loads and loads of grafts all over it. And as I say, if you can sort of see, it's hard to see really, but I have taken an enormous amount of this tree out of the back side of it here. This used to be pressed up really hard against the glass of the greenhouse. So I've taken great big chunks out and let some more light in lower down, and hopefully some of those scions will take. This piece here, which I've got my finger against, this is a piece of Mexico Grande, which I grafted last year, and it's growing not really how I want it, if I'm honest. So I've already taken a big chunk up the top, and I'm going to be pruning this piece here back again, right back down to here, kind of, so it's just got a couple of nodes above the grafting point. See if I can't get it to get a little bit bushier, because at the moment it's just pushing out this really large thick green stem, which is great if it was lower down, but it's too high up for this. So if anybody wants a piece of Mexico Grande, that's about just a little bit thicker, a little bit thinner than my little finger, and about what will be cutting off here. Probably be cutting off about 10 inches. So about 10 inches, just a little bit thinner than my little finger. Mexico Grande. If anybody wants a piece of that, let me know, and I'll happily send a piece over. Behind it there is the Joey, which I grafted in last year. This has been quite slow to get going, but it is nice and healthy. So I'm hoping this year that will get going really well, and we'll get a bit more Joey on this plant at the end of the year. Looking around at my other ones, so this tree here, which I've featured a few times, is still a massive dilemma to me. I just don't really understand what's going on here. This is the tree that loses most of its leaves every year, and it's done the same this year. If I can get it to focus in, can I do that? Yeah. So you can see we have the standard leaf buds that are breaking open at the top, and then below we have these unusual buds that they don't look like the flower buds on my other tree, but maybe they are flower buds. I'm not too sure. See if I can get this piece to focus. Again, there's a standard leaf bud at the top, and then all of these other peculiar buds below it. Another one here. And if you look at other branches, like this one for example, let's see if I can just get this camera in here. You can see this has just got a standard leaf break with none of those peculiar buds below it. Same here, standard leaf with none of those peculiar bits below it. So as I have said before, this tree has produced some weird buds in the past which I thought were going to turn into flowers and then don't. So whilst I am of an optimistic nature, I'm not counting my chickens yet as to whether or not this particular tree is going to flower this year. We'll have to wait and see. Behind it, this is the Mexico Grande. Again, this is from a piece that I grafted last year. You can see it's put huge amounts of growth on. So this is really going to become my main Mexico Grande tree. Lots of new growth. I've pinched all the tops out actually over the winter to try and make it a bit bushier. Lots of new growth, but no flower buds, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it not having flower buds this year. I would kind of like to see it flower next year. That would be good, but I'm absolutely fine with it not flowering this year. Now, one of the other trees I had is that I had my in-ground reed, and it was just dying and dying and dying, and eventually I dug it up and the root ball had basically completely gone. So this is it now. Looks terrible. It's looked terrible before, I might add. I'm not sure if it's looked as terrible as this before. But I've dug it up. For whatever reason, the soil it was in the ground, it didn't like. I just don't know why really, because it's only a few feet away from the avocado, which is growing absolutely fine in ground. But anyway, I've dug it up, put it into some fresh, really well draining soil, and we'll see if the root ball comes back or not. I've actually taken a few cuttings from this and put that on my main tree, and I've also taken a cutting. And put it on one of my little seedlings to see whether or not I can keep hold of a little bit of reed without it all dying. So I'll have to wait and see. There's a nice little seedling next door actually. That's just going to become a donor plant at some stage in the future. It looks quite healthy though. A few other trees that I don't really ever bother talking about in my greenhouse, but I will just show them quickly. I have this really big lemon tree, which I've cut down really hard here and here, and actually up the top there. Because again, this was just pressing up really hard against the greenhouse. But as you can see, oops, is that going to focus? Yeah, pushing out loads and loads of new growth. Obviously, I won't get any lemons off of or any flowers off of this bit this year, although there are flowers up here, flowers at the back. I won't bother going right down there, but there are some lemons developing from last year down the bottom of the tree, round the back there. They're just lemons, not particularly exciting. I have a Mayor's lemon here. Again, I don't really bother featuring my citrus very much. A Mayor's lemon in a pot. It's got one which is probably getting close to ready to pick actually, but plenty of flower buds on it. So I'm expecting those to all burst open fairly soon. And then behind me I have a, is it a yuzu? Yeah, yuzu. A yuzu citrus. This had, Christ, I don't know, at least 30 fruits on it at the beginning of winter, which I've picked and worked my way through over the winter. But again, you can see it's in quite good nick. Looks all right. This is an orange tree of some variety. If I've lost the label. I don't know what it is, but it's some kind of orange tree. As you can see, it's absolutely full of flower buds. So that's going to get going fairly soon. And then down the back here, this is my kumquat. This came with loads of fruits on it a couple of years ago, and it's never fruited since. It's hardly done any growth. It's just kind of done nothing really. It sort of doesn't grow. It doesn't die. It doesn't fruit. It doesn't flower, but just continues to look really healthy. And that's about it really. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with that one. This is one of these, like, I can't remember the name of them now. They're like the little ornamental oranges, aren't they? That you get in B&Q and the like. I pick these and eat these like kumquats. They're not to everybody's taste, but they're a little bit more bitter than kumquats. They don't have the sweet skin like a kumquat does to take the bitterness away, but they're quite nice, quite refreshing. I get hundreds and hundreds of fruits off of this little thing. So it does all right. Satsuma, which is, excuse the munching, just in the process of creating loads of little flower buds. There's going to be tons of flowers on that. So yeah, the citrus is doing really well. I'm quite pleased with the citrus this year. They've done very well over winter. And just as a really, really bizarre thing, first tomatoes have set for the year. Tomatoes are in flower. How bad is that? This tomato plant, which looks terribly unhealthy because it's actually managed to survive the whole winter. So now, with the sunshine, the tops are just beginning to get some chlorophyll back in them and are beginning to photosynthesize again. Obviously all those lower leaves have suffered complete lack of sunshine over the winter, but the plant itself has managed to survive, which is mad, absolutely mad, and is now flushing out new growth, flowers, and is setting fruit. I don't think I've ever had tomatoes set fruit in March before. So yeah, be interesting to see what this plant does. It's got quite a big, thick main stem, so who knows, maybe that will come through again, and we'll have some tomatoes off that. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to come back in a week or so's time and see what's happened to these buds and see whether or not they are flowers, or maybe somebody in the comments can let me know what they think, if they're flowers or not, or if they're just, I don't know, really weird leaf buds. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you very much for watching. As always, apologies for the terrible camera work. I'm certainly no David Bailey, for those that remember him. And I'll see you all soon. Thanks a lot for now. Bye bye.